Hey. So I'm going to start a video here in a second, also on Awake TV. So if you're already watching this on Facebook, hey, what's up? I'm going to talk about some interesting things in a moment here, but just give me a second. And now I'm live on Awake TV. Just give me another moment here. I'm just going to close a certain window after something is loaded. And here it is. Hi. My name is Seiji OshenZa. This is Somatic Secrets, episode 7. Today, we're going to be talking about the myth of aging. Before I talk about aging, I want to first back up a little bit and say Happy Earth Day. Today is a really special day, more special than all the other Earth Days that we've experienced in the past. Just because of the state of the world, what's going on with the pandemic and the lockdown. I know for a lot of you, this is a really difficult time. You can't connect in the same way with people as you would. But at the same time, our reduced activity on the earth has really had a really positive impact in some ways, right? You've seen it all over the internet. Deer are walking into towns and wildlife is taking back over, and people can noticeably see how the weather has been changing, how the skies are clearer. So this just shows us how quickly the earth can regenerate and heal herself. And so let's celebrate that today. So let's celebrate that we've been collectively making a change, whether it's for this reason or that reason. But what we have actually achieved to billions of people change our lifestyles for the greater good, right? Is to protect the vulnerable. And the most vulnerable in this is us, all together collectively. That has been the story for years. We've been destroying our planet. And by destroying our planet, we really are encroaching on our own environment, our own place that we can live in. And if we're now going to be changing our lifestyles, we're also going to be changing the earth. We're going to be changing and really let her heal up again. Because that's just what nature does. Nature always seeks equilibrium, always seeks some form of balance. There is never really true balance in nature, because if it were always in true balance, nothing would change. So there always has to be a little bit of tension, a little bit of give and take. But once you have allowed something to take its course, then the real magic can actually happen. So what we've been seeing is the earth is starting to heal her wounds very fast. And that's something to be celebrated and marveled at, right? Because we've had all these scientists it's going to take so many years to actually fix all the damage that we've done. And that might be true. There might still be a lot of damage that is going to take some time to repair. But up until now, everybody has believed that that's impossible to do, because we can't stop people from doing this and can't stop him from doing that. And now we understand that we can. And that's wonderful. And that's what I'm happy about. And I also believe that the earth is just a larger part of our whole body, that we are a part of the greater body, which is the earth, which is the universe. It's all one thing. Everything is connected one way or another. You can look at how separate we are in all these different ways, right? We're not all the same, right? We can't look the same. We're not I'm not a planet, I'm a person. And yet we have all these similarities, all these things that have in common, because we come from each other. There wouldn't be this world that we're living in without us, and there wouldn't be this world that we're living in without the planet or the universe for everything that's happening, even though we seem so small. So the myth of aging. What I find really parallel and pertinent is that just like the earth, if you let her run her course, she will repair and heal herself. And we have the same ability as human beings. It works a little bit differently, but if you actually let your body tell you what you need, if you're paying attention, you can come back into equilibrium. You can come back into balance within yourself. And it's really important, particularly in this time, because we have so much time. A lot of us are at home. We can't work and distract ourselves from the things that we are normally doing. And so many of us are probably looking in, maybe noticing some of your addictive patterns or just some of the things that have been triggers for you, but you never had time to deal with, and so you just swept it under the rug. And that's okay. And now that it's coming up, that might mean that it's time to work through it. It's time to eat that sandwich that you made, right? And with somatics, aging is a misconception. We have this idea about aging that it's inevitable, which in some ways it is, totally. But in other ways, we are not totally victims to the effects of aging. In fact, we have a lot that we can do about it. And if you look at the planet is aging, yeah, but she's not dying. She's not like decrepit and old and can't move around anymore. But if we feed her with all kinds of toxins and don't treat her properly, then yeah, it's not going to look great. So your body is just like the planet. If you let it, she'll heal herself, he will heal himself. And if you keep doing something knowingly or unknowingly that's damaging your body, at some point you will notice the repercussions of that. With aging, we have this idea that we won't be able to move around that much anymore. If you ask a lot of young people, I don't want to get old. It's a thought that came in my mind when I was younger. I don't want to get old. I don't want to have all gray hair, and I don't want to be all hunched over and have wrinkles and all those things that we somehow find ugly or unsightly or just plain uncomfortable. And it's just part of life that we age and get older. But like I said, the rate at which we age, the capabilities that our body has as we grow older can stay pretty much the same if you know how to take care of your body, if we know how to take care of the earth. We can preserve all our wildlife, all our plant life, and thrive on the planet. I think that's really possible. When you are seeing an old person walking across the street, what do you see? You see them hunched over, maybe they have a wheelchair or a walker, something like that. They're being helped into their posture, whatever it is, so they can still stand up. And the problem with the things that develop in our bodies as we age is that we become unaware of them. And we only see the effect of when it's reached a certain point where it's actually noticeable. You don't notice all the years of when you've been hunching over in front of the TV, or if you've had one injury after another. And if you've had an injury, you'll know that doing certain movements or holding your body in a certain way is painful, and so you avoid it. You develop habits for avoiding the pain. And what happens with people as they do that, those habits don't necessarily go away even after the pain itself has disappeared. So there's always echoes of these injuries that we've had, the bad ones, but even sometimes a small injury can trigger something and cause a little avalanche of discomfort in your body. You might have noticed when you turned 30 or 40 or however old you are that you didn't feel the same in your body as you did when you were 5 years old. Right? If you think back when you were 5 years old, you didn't complain about back pain necessarily. Most children don't complain about back pain. Most children don't complain about neck pain, shoulder tension, carpal tunnel syndrome. Have you ever heard a 5-year-old complain about carpal tunnel syndrome? No, because it happens over repetitive, many years of use of the muscles. And not only that, what happens in the body is always a reflection of what's happening in your brain, in your habituated motor system. Your brain is running the whole program. The reason that you know how to brush your teeth so well, because you do it every day. Your brain has learned that movement pattern, brushing your teeth. You can do it with your eyes closed. Same with tying your shoes or driving your car. Your brain just knows it, and it has a specific set of neural pathways in your brain that are dedicated for these tasks. And the same happens if you, say somebody has a tennis elbow, and they're literally playing tennis for many hours of the week, for months, for years, for decades, and develop a condition in their arm called tennis elbow where certain muscles stay in contraction. Maybe some of the tendons start wearing against each other and the joints start wearing out. Those are habits. Yes, some of it is maintained by that lifestyle. Maybe there is another ergonomic way for them to be practicing their sport. But also, most people don't know how to pandiculate, meaning how to consciously, voluntarily release tension from their bodies. And so that's what I want to talk about. The myth of aging isn't about like how we don't get older, but it's about how can we maintain a fresh state of mindfulness in our minds and our bodies that is going to maintain that same feeling of strength, flexibility, and youth that we have in the body. I hear people in my age complain about having lots of lower back pain, shoulder tension, neck pain, and all the other things under the sun. And I experienced some of that. And I have a somatic practice that I can use to balance myself out. If I'm really feeling a lot of pain, I'll lay down and do some somatic movements. And then the tension disappears. Most people don't have access to that. Most people don't know that they have that ability. Most people don't know that most of the signs of aging are actually reversible, or at least maintainable. You can maintain your body. And you've seen those 90-year-old grandmas that are still lifting weights in the gym. They're motivated by something. They're motivated by being alive, by having friends, by smiling, by doing nice things for people, for feeling good. And those are the things that should be driving us forward. Those are the things that are just natural for us. And along with that, we got to be a little bit smart about how we treat our bodies. It's not all, taking one for the team forever, because you're your only team. You're there for you. If you're not paying attention to yourself, if you're not loving yourself completely, then things will take their course. And you might be that old person on the street that needs a cane to walk. And what I'm trying to help people understand is you can do something about that. You don't have to live a life like that. You don't have to fear of getting older, because that's just an illusion. You're only as old as you feel. That's not an accident. That saying is not an accident. So what do we do? I mentioned a somatic practice can help, but also it's paying attention. It's being aware of yourself, paying attention to yourself. As soon as you lay down, relax, take a few deep breaths, and start consciously becoming aware of your body, neurologically, you're setting a chain of events into action that is going to literally change the structure of your body. And if you do this on a regular basis, you create a habit for that. You create a habit for becoming relaxed. And that's a really good habit to have. Something I started doing when I adopted a somatic practice into my life was a certain set of moves. And if you've been watching my show and seen some of my episodes, you'll know that there are certain basic somatic movements that you can do to kind of keep yourself in check, right? We do movements for lower back, neck and shoulders, for maintaining, proper posture. And in coming episodes, I'll expound on different parts of the body that we can use somatics for release and pain relief and flexibility and movement. But really, I want you to be looking at this as not like, oh, I got pain, I should do this, and then it goes away, and then I can just chill again. This is a lifetime practice. And it doesn't have to be something that's crushing and like, oh, I don't have time for it. Like anything, you can find time for anything if you make it a priority. I think the reason most people are actually not healthy is because it's not because they don't have enough time. It's because they don't love themselves enough. If you're not loving yourself, so if you don't love yourself, you're going to still let yourself experience things that aren't kind. If you love somebody, you're going to be kind to them. You're going to treat them kindly with respect. You want them to feel well. So if you love yourself, you want to feel well. You want to feel good in your body. You want to feel pain-free. You want to feel relief. You want to feel joy and all those things, right? And so we need to really be looking in ourselves and becoming aware of the things that are still holding us in some kind of pattern of not loving yourself, not being kind to yourself, and hurting yourself, right? It's the food we take in, it's the environment we choose to live in, it's the people we choose to have in our lives, and it's the practices, the things we do with our bodies or to our bodies that they keep us in bad health. And if you love yourself, naturally you will find ways to make yourself more healthy. And a somatic practice is just that. If you do your somatic practice, you'll at some point fall even deeper into love with yourself. Because you suddenly notice how well you actually feel. How good it actually is to be living in your body. So take time. Take time to turn inward. And if you have fear around this injury, this thing that's developing in you, this thing that isn't healthy, this addictive pattern that you're noticing, don't judge it. I'm giving you permission to stop judging it. And it might still go on. You might still like, oh, this shouldn't be happening. This isn't good. I don't want to live in my body like this. This should go away. But if you have that kind of disposition about it, you're not loving yourself. You're sending like emotional daggers at yourself. You're punishing yourself. And that's okay if you do that. Don't judge yourself for judging yourself. Just be aware that that's what's happening. And just know that all those repetitive thoughts are also patterns that you have just remembered and forgotten that you were doing. Right? The thoughts in our head, the posture we hold in our bodies, the things we do in our bodies, it's all part of the same thing. It's all habit. If you've ever heard of the term of enlightenment, right? A person, like a Buddhist monk, meditates for this many years and suddenly becomes enlightened. Realizes he's one with the universe. I've had moments like that, where I felt like at one with everything. But it was very passing. It was gone the next day. The next day I had other thoughts again, like, oh man, this isn't good, that still has to be paid, I don't have enough of this, I don't have enough love of there, I don't have this and that, and so I fall into this downward spiral of not feeling well, not loving myself. And the conclusion, the realization I had to come to that is also a habit, and that enlightenment is also a habit. You can train yourself to be enlightened more often than not. It sounds funny, but it's all a state of mind and it's all an attitude. And if you're not used to doing it, it's going to feel difficult to even be in that, right? It's like if you've never gone swimming before and then swam maybe once or twice and maybe had a few moves and like, okay, I know how to swim now. And then you get pushed into the water somewhere where there's no ground, there's like nowhere where you put your feet, and then you actually have to swim. If you're not really used to it, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be really hard to stay afloat. And so we need to train ourselves to become enlightened. It takes work. It takes getting used to. It takes getting used to developing a somatic practice. It takes getting used to loving yourself. That's a lesson I'm learning every day. And I fall back out and I climb back on that horse. Keep going. Another way, when you observe people that are carrying some form of pain over many years, and as they get older, you can see it in their face too. Right? The next time you're driving down the street or taking a walk, and you observe just like any elderly person, and if you are an elderly person watching this, I hope you don't feel offended by this. I don't want to create any kind of ageism. But you can sometimes tell the pain you're having just by looking at your face. If you look in the mirror and let your face rest, so you're not trying to make any kind of expression, is your face actually relaxed? Or are you still making some kind of grimace or frown or some kind of stiffening of the facial muscles? And then ask yourself or feel into yourself, is that coming from here, or is there tension somewhere in my body? Is it coming somewhere in my body? Is it my shoulders? Is it my back? Right? That's every day. If you have pain in your back every day, that will come out into your face. And I've seen older people as they're taking a walk. I can't even imitate it. I don't know. But they look like they're in pain. And if I came up and asked them, are you in pain? They might even say, no, I'm fine. But then if I had them on a massage table and I touched them here on their back or on their shoulders and neck and pushed a little bit and like, oh, that hurts, that's tender. Okay, you told me earlier you're not feeling any pain, and yet when I touch you here, there is pain. So what's up with that? I would say that that's a habit. You've had pain and tension so long that you stopped noticing it. It just became normal. And it's okay that that happens, because we got to live our lives. We got to pay our bills. We got to put food on the table. We got to put the kids to school, or put the kids to bed, bring them to school. And so we kind of lose sight of our bodies and how our bodies are feeling. And if you fall out of relationship with your body, it will catch up to you. It might come out in your face and you won't notice it. But if I'm working with a person that has all this pain that they didn't notice, and suddenly they get to this new realization, there's suddenly so much potential there. Suddenly, you know that those tight muscles that we were holding on to unknowingly can actually be let go. That person stuck in a forward arching posture can actually stand up straight again if they really diligently worked at decontracting those muscles and maintained a lifestyle where they're pandiculating, somatically releasing, that's what pandiculation means, that tension in their bodies. And it doesn't have to be hard. It can be something that kind of sneaks into your lifestyle. I can be doing it right now. So I'm like lifting myself up, just like arching my back, and I just like slowly come down. Sometimes I hunch over while I'm doing the video, and then I switch up again, right? There's no such thing as perfect posture. Just like there's no such thing as a perfect sky. Sky is always changing. The sky is perfect because it's changing. So your posture, standing up straight, this is perfect posture. I'm excellent. Not so excellent. Forget about that. Just move in what way feels good to you. Just don't be stuck. When you stay somewhere and stay stuck, that's when it becomes painful to come out of it. And if you're in a space of pain, slowly, with love, wiggle your way out of it. Contract whatever feels tight, right? If your shoulders feel tight, pull them back a little bit, and then slowly let them come back to the center. Arch your back, lifting your chest. Slowly let yourself come down again. And these are the kinds of things that we can do to help reduce tension, pain in our bodies for long term. And you have that capability. Everybody has that capability. If I can do it, so can you. There's not that much different about me that you don't have, right? I have 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, a brain, a nervous system, same skeletal structure as you probably. Maybe I'm a little bit taller or shorter, maybe I speak a different language than you, maybe my skin looks different, but all in all, our bodies are built the same, our brains are structured in the same way, our nervous system works in pretty much the same way. We may have different habits in how we use our bodies, how we interface with ourselves, but if you learn these tricks, learn these things that we have gleaned from researching our bodies, how things work, how they connect. Like, this isn't just like something I'm making up. This is researched, fact-based science. We're looking at neurophysiology. We're looking into your own psychology. We're looking into just the structure of your body, the motor mechanics of your body. And if you just spend a little bit of time with yourself, being aware of yourself, moving in a mindful way, you'll notice that there's a lot more things you can do with yourself. This ability that I trained myself to have is remarkable. This is what I've been looking for all my life. And I haven't really had a hard life. Some people discover these holistic healing methods after dealing with like the worst kinds of things, broken backs or cracked skulls, or having cancer and a big tumor, right? People have almost magically miraculously healed themselves because they were motivated by their own suffering. And in my case, I have never really suffered severely. I've never broken a bone or broken my back or anything like that. I've experienced some severe muscular pain, sometimes tension, sometimes my back seizes up and then I can't turn my head properly for a few weeks. That's happened to me. And now I know that that's temporary and it's something that I can work on. It's not something that I'm a victim of, right? A lot of people have this attitude that they're a victim to their own bodies. Oh, I hate that my body does this. The pain is back. But it's not an accident. What have you been doing with your body that is allowing you to see that right now? That is calling for your attention. And if you aren't aware, then you won't be, but you'll notice the pain when it happens, right? If you keep your electricity on, you keep your lights on in your room all the time because you use them a lot, it might be useful, it might be good, but at the end of the month, you get your electricity bill and then it hurts. So that's kind of how it is. We keep the lights on, we keep certain muscles in contraction. If you're playing tennis and you using your arm in a certain way and you build up these contractions, at some point, if you're not allowing yourself proper rest or relaxation, decontracting the muscles, you might be building up more tension than is actually healthy for you. And over time, that built up tension in your arm might make the joints so tight that the cartilage grinds away, and then at some point you'll need surgery. You'll need a joint replacement, right? That's what happens with elderly people. They have hip replacements, knee replacements, all different kinds of replacements. And I'm not saying that those are unnecessary. I'm saying that they can be avoided in a lot of the cases. And it takes really choosing to love yourself. That's really what it is. If you love yourself, you don't want to suffer. So you're going to do something to keep yourself from suffering. Right? And I think that's why I'm here. I've been taught how to love myself. I'm not perfect at it, but I am determined to feel well in my body. And I equate that with a certain level of loving myself. So I'm going to do that. And that is what I want to convey to you. Love yourself. Do what's good for you. Feel what you need. And then act on it. And there is a big gap of knowledge. Most people don't know how to use somatic movements. And I'm seeing it all the time. I see people, and I can tell just by how they walk, how they stand, how they speak, how they move their bodies, that they're in pain or they're in discomfort. You might notice in your own body if you're in discomfort. You can ask any person. Any person will tell you, oh yeah, lower back pain. Oh yeah, grind my teeth at night, have tension in my jaws. Oh yeah, this and that, pain here and there. And one of the problems is we somehow believe that we're a victim to our bodies, that your body is out of your control. Some people don't care enough. Some people actually don't have any problems and so don't feel motivated to do anything about it anyway because there's no problem. But that could then mean that later on, because they haven't been paying attention, it catches up to them. And if you're so lucky, that might actually never happen. Maybe you'll stay in pristine health all the way to the end. And that's what I hope for you. And if that's not what's going on for you, then please look through my YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, look through our website, go to Awake TV and watch the other episodes, or go through our Facebook page and you'll find the videos of somatics. You'll find us presenting these somatic movements, teaching you how to do these movements. Because once you start getting used to using somatic pandiculations, it's going to be a game changer for you. Suddenly you have a tool that you can use to easily turn off tension in your body. You don't need anybody else around to do it. All you need is some willingness, a little bit of self-love, a brain and a body, and you got that. You have that. That's what you're made of. So there's no reason you can't do this. And it's not hard. It takes some time to learn, and you have all the time. You got a lot of time right now. And if you somehow don't feel like just watching a video is enough, if you need somebody there actually coaching you, then hit me up. Send me a private message on Facebook, send me an email, go to my website, check it out. Maybe you can even book a virtual session with me. We can talk over WhatsApp, Facebook, Zoom, what have you, and I can instruct you through somatic movements that you can integrate into your daily life. You can do somatics while you're sitting at your desk, working. You can do somatics while you're driving your car if you have to go long distances driving. And I know a lot of people experience pain from just like sitting in a car driving somewhere because you're stuck in a certain kind of position. Or you can do somatics on your bedroom floor, on the living room floor, on a yoga mat, on a massage table, in the grass somewhere if the weather's nice. You can do it almost anywhere that you can really rest and relax. And we have this whole stigma about not relaxing and doing. We have to do and make yourself successful, and you have to do this, and you have to make money, and blah, 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 all this doing. And yes, doing is important. Without doing, we wouldn't get anything done. But the other side of doing is being relaxed. Right? Half of the day, we're sleeping, we're in bed. There's a reason for that. We need to be relaxed. That's half of our existence. And most people don't give rest enough attention. There's a crucial element to your health within rest itself. If you don't give yourself time to rest, your body won't have time to repair itself. If you don't give yourself time to work on your garden won't get worked. Same kind of deal. It's just the other way around. So wherever you direct your attention, direct it fully, direct it with love. And you'll notice how things will transform. And it doesn't take a lot of hard pushing. It takes a gentle, sensitive touch, really. The lightest touch. So love yourself. Love yourself deeply. Love yourself fully. Love yourself even if you're old. Love yourself even if you're young and inexperienced. Love yourself regardless. Something I noticed during my somatic practice the other day, I just laid on the ground and did a few movements. And at this point, I kind of know where all the kinks in my body are, where all the construction sites are, because we always got some kind of construction sites going on. Something's being built here, something's being taken down there. And I just noticed a correlation between emotional attachments. Something wasn't going right in my life, and I was thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, this isn't right. And then I also thought about like myself and how I acted in those situations, and I was judging myself for like, oh wow, I really didn't handle that well, and I could have done it better. And then I had to back up even more, like, wow, I'm judging myself again. Okay, let's just accept that then. I can't change it. So I'm just going to accept that. I'm going to love that. Even if I don't like it. Even if there's a part of me that thinks I don't like it. Accept it. You don't have to like anything, just accept it. And once I started doing that on the ground, I noticed my body relax even more. That the pain was going away even more. And so being with your body, doing a somatic practice is like accepting the tension and letting it go. When you notice a self-limiting thought pop up in your mind, become aware of it. Just notice it. Accept it, let it go. It's all the same thing. In somatics, we do a movement for it. In psychology, we just think about it or talk about it. But when we're in balance, in tandem with body and mind, magic can happen. So magic. So magic. So that is why aging is a myth. It's really just a habit. And a habit can be changed. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this live just program, me talking about the myth of aging. I hope it was insightful. Please check out my other videos. I'll provide more links so you can check out the YouTube channel that I've been gradually filling up. I know the video quality isn't the best, but hey, the information is good. And please give me some feedback. Let me know how these droplets of information have been percolating into you. And if you need help, reach out. There are so many ways that we can help each other during these times. And not everybody has enough money or resources. And we can talk about anything. And as long as we're in a state of loving ourselves, of wanting to be connected, anything can be worked out. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is Somatic Secrets on Awake TV Network. I'm going to be here at the same time next week, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're somewhere else in the world, don't worry, the recording will be on Facebook or Awake TV if you go onto the page there. And like I said again, if you need help, reach out. I'm happy to help you with whatever you're dealing with. If it's pain in your heart or pain in your back, I got your back. Okay, I love you. Thank you so much. Gonna stop the video there.